who come from around the world to play professional soccer in the United States.
Go, go, USA! Oh, it's incredible!
In a world where some call it football, football, or soccer, they dare to call it foosball. One thinks New York is blue, the other thinks New York is red. Soccer in America from a German perspective. Let them put some sauerkraut on your hot dog and join them for the Schnitzel Boys USA Hour.
Yeah,
Hey, there we go.
I'll put some sauerkraut on your hot dog.
Saw my dirty room for a second. I'm like, look at that blur. Blur is saving my blushes.
I had unmuted myself, but then apparently remuted myself briefly. Anyway, here we are. It's the
Artisanal.
Deutschland Hour. It's still my birthday.
It's the USA Hour.
The USA Hour. I'm sorry, we just did the
got it.
Deutschland Hour, but it's still my birthday. I have eaten my body weight in pie today, and I'm not about to stop. I'm getting back to the French silk, the strawberry rhubarb, and the whatever that other thing is called. It's also very chocolatey. It's got some strawberries on it. It's pistachio. It's all delicious.
Whoa, it's a lot.
Miss American Pie in Brooklyn. We're not sponsored. We don't. But
But if we were, it'd be by a pie. It'd be by a private pie.
we would love to accept sponsorship from.
I buy that kind of pie here in LA. I buy pizza pie from people's apartments. You do
Pizza
it through
pie.
Instagram. Do it through Instagram.
Well, she used to have a store, but now the store is closed. Now she's just doing it on her own.
Is that going to be more common moving forward, that food services, to save money because of how expensive everything is, they're going to get rid of the storefront and they're just going to have a virtual storefront and you're just going to shop via Instagram? Is that going to be a new norm?
think it could be. Yeah, I mean, in New York City, there's still a lot of storefronts that are doing pretty well, despite.
Hopefully,
yeah, I don't
I
know.
like it.
Maybe.
I want them
Yeah.
to. I want to buy pizza whenever. I don't want to schedule
You don't
it on
want
a
to have to
Tuesday
pre-order.
and
You don't
pick it
have to
up on a
pre-order your
Friday.
pizza. No, that's
Yeah.
got to just when the hunger strikes, you got to just walk in someplace.
That's true. But so that's your big birthday plan, was just the pies? Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, today was mostly pie. I got. Well, I did a little bit of a spa day for myself. I got a
that's
massage and.
Hey, I've never ever gotten a massage.
It's very nice. It's very
should.
nice. I am not a big massage getter. In this case, I like the sauna cold plunge thing. I go to a place. I feel like that's good for me. I go to a place here in Williamsburg, and they're always trying to sell the extra stuff, the massages and the scrubs. And so today I was like, oh, it's my birthday, why not? And it's very nice, both the massage and the scrub. The massage was very nice. The scrub, I could take or leave, except I walked out, and this woman says, "You look good." And I was like, "Did I?" She said, "You're glistening." Yeah, I got all like oiled up. And this woman I didn't know complimented my physique,
that's
so I was
nice.
like, "Let's go. This scrub is the best."
Well,
So,
that's a good. That's the best birthday present of all. If
So
some stranger comes up to
yeah,
you.
that felt nice. And my lovely wife took me out to a very nice dinner last night here in Manhattan, and it's a good birthday. It was very nice. I got a lot of grilling gifts. My family gave me a lot of grilling related gifts. I guess now that
Vermont?
we have the grill is back. We used to have outdoor space in our place on Smith Street where we don't live anymore. So there was a lot of grilling then. Now the grill is in Vermont, and it's gonna. I guess the family has expectations about this being put to work. They gave me spices and thermometers and Himalayan salt blocks
Wow.
somehow.
Blocks.
That are helpful for this. I don't know. There's a lot of it's very grilling themed, the gift. So
Sweet.
the expectations are high. Anyway, that's my birthday. How are you doing? It was your birthday last week. How was that?
Last week, I did the Florida trip for that. I went to Florida with my family. We went out to a soccer game to see Lionel Messi. Then we went out to a Florida restaurant on the water. The
Very
food.
nice.
Yeah, whenever I go to Florida,
Grouper?
I'm a
Grouper
big
sandwich? Grouper
No,
sandwiches?
I had the swordfish. catch of the day.
Also
Swordfish.
good. Yeah.
It was pretty good, but it was okay. But like whenever I go to Florida, whenever I go anywhere, I want Rome. So when I go to Florida, I want like Florida, and this is what it was: restaurant on the pier. There was a cover band playing Tom Petty, and like there was swordfishes on the wall, and then right behind us was a bridge opening and closing for the ships coming through. However, I just have this weird, never-ending crusade to eat excellent seafood on the coast. And I hate to be, I know this is the USA Hour, but I hate to be an anti-American Euro snob or South American snob, but like when I was in Brazil and you went to a fish place on the beach, delicious and fresh. Up in the Nordsee or Ostsee, I believe it where I am, Travemünde, fish everywhere, delicious.
Okay.
Do you know Gosh? No, not Gosh, it's the beer. Anyway, there's some German fish chain. It's like a German Red Lobster. It's up north on the beach there on the coast. Fish, delicious. I go to Florida. I asked a friend of mine. That's a fresh catch today. All the fish is like deep fried and I don't know, flavorless. It's just burgers, fries, ribs. I don't know. Am I wrong to be like it should be like a boat dropping off fish to just grill and it's like?
I mean, you can find that. I guess it's.
I've been looking. There's a place out here in California I need to find too, because there's also a place here in California, Malibu, called Duke. Same thing, beautiful ambiance right on the water. But the food is like mediocre burgers and fries.
I agree. I agree with you. You have to look a little harder. I think in America, yeah, I think that's where I go. Well, where do I go? In Florida. I've had great grouper sandwiches at Frenchie's restaurant in Clearwater. I think Clearwater Beach. That was good.
Yeah.
In Montauk. There's a place, the Dock. They make a good tuna. They make all kinds of good things that are fresh. But I guess if you're just randomly going in someplace, that is more often than not. You're right.
Well,
deep fried is the standard.
No, I Googled this one. Like I was recommended this.
And still, it wasn't. You didn't like it.
I've been to 2 places in Florida. No, C. I don't hate it. I'll give it a C, C+. I've been to 2 places in Florida,
That's not
right
great.
on the water.
For a recommended place, a C+
No.
is not what you want.
But also, maybe I'm a food snob. Maybe LA has spoiled me. Maybe New York has spoiled me a little bit. Europe spoils me definitely a little bit. But it's Florida, right? Shouldn't the fish be excellent in Florida? I don't know.
I
don't know.
I've had plenty of good. I don't have the same complaint. I feel like, especially in the time that I've been here, the foods in this country, the food situation has improved like many-fold. I think these
We
days,
mentioned that. Yeah, I agree. But like
these days, wherever you go, you can find good stuff.
Ostsee, Fischbrötchen, oh, so flavorful. Explodes in your mouth.
What, like the crab? What like the Krabbenbrötchen?
Nah, there's 4 or 5 lachs filet, and there's 4 or 5. There's a bunch of fish options, all delicious, really flavorful.
You can get them deep fried too, though, in Germany or like in England. Fish and chips it's still better.
Yeah, but you don't. That's the bad thing. We don't want to do that because it gets rid of the taste. Anyway, long story short, my birthday last week was great.
You weren't into it.
And then,
the food.
And
Food
then my
was C+.
brother-in-law made food the next day, and his food was much better. His salmon was delicious. His shrimp was delicious. It made me go buy a bunch of. I was just eating clam strips because I'm on such a shrimp kick now. My freezer is just full of shrimp. I just bought a bunch of different types of shrimp. Big shrimp kick now. Anywho, birthday was fun. Your birthday was fun. We're
great.
Torai, May.
Torai, yes.
Torai.
And my team won a road game.
Was that the big story of the game? Was the only story of that game?
Yes, that's the only thing I care about. 3
sure?
points. What goes on the field is all I'm focused on. No, we have Tunnelgate.
There's also something before Tunnelgate, right? Because I watched this game on MLS's app, and would you know they didn't show any footage or mention the big brawl at the end of the game?
in the highlights.
Funny thing.
But in the replay, there's plenty of brawl content.
However, they did show at the very end a red card, right? Didn't someone get red carded right there at the end?
Bernadeschi.
For some sort of a complaint, but that was kind of the beginning of what became the brawl, right?
And you can see Well, do you want me to tell the whole story?
Please.
You want to go back to March 16th? Because that's really when it all started.
Oh, there's a longer story than I realized. Sure, tell me about March 16th.
Yeah, there's a backstory because this is what happened. Well, I mean, maybe maybe we'll start with this week's game.
I'm sitting back. Tell me the tale.
I'll tell you the tale
NYCFC
of NYCFC's head coach punching somebody. Could it be? Is it possible?
Punching a child.
Nick Cushing punching people. It really seems unlikely. I mean, anyway, what happened? NYCFC played in Toronto at Toronto FC and won the game. I mean, if we want to give you the short story, won 3-2. Unbelievable. We had went into halftime with a 2-0 lead. A little fortunate, perhaps. Hannes Wolf had 2 assists, and he got a penalty for a handball. So anyway, 2-0 halftime lead, and then held on after Toronto made a run. First went 2-1, then Andres Pereira gets a goal, and then anyway 3-2. Toronto initially was unhappy with the referee not giving enough stoppage time. He had 7 minutes, which I thought was a lot, actually. 7 minutes.
This was this past weekend?
This is this game.
Or March?
This current game. No, March. I'll get to March. We're talking about this game. I'll get to March in a second. So you got 7 minutes of stoppage time, which I was like, what? 7 minutes? That seems like a lot. But we were protecting a lead. A slim lead, and so of course there was a lot of time wasting, and so it then got to, and we had Santi Rodriguez go down with a cramp, and the referee kept saying, don't worry, I'm going to make this up, and he gave it 2 extra minutes. I got to 9 minutes from 7, but that still wasn't enough. Bernadeschi really was upset. He felt like he should have gone, and so he got a red card after the game, and he went off in a huff. Fuck you, he said. You can hear it very clearly as he's walking off. So that was that. And then, but then a post-game scrum resulted. There was some not fisticuffs, but some like pushing and shoving. And Sean Johnson, our former goalie, Sean Johnson, got madder than I have ever seen him in any context.
He really has a bad relationship with you guys in the past. Because we've brought him up a few times on this podcast.
I mean, I don't know. He does not like us anymore. I think it was Tanasiewicz, the center back who came off the bench. He kind of got in his face, it seems like, and perhaps landed a headbutt. I think that's where
is he that new Serbian guy?
Yeah, he looks like Matt Damon's cousin. Yeah,
he's only played like 2 games, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, he's, as somebody was saying on Twitter, he's just desperate for any kind of action. So he was so he headbutted Sean Johnson. Sean Johnson just completely loses his shit, and goes after him and sort of then gets to him, but then of course, what is he going to do? So he just sort of bear hugs and wraps him up, and there's some kneeing, and it's like a soccer fight. It's like a lot of huffing and puffing.
Yeah, you can run to them, but you can't touch them.
Not a ton of damage, and so and John Hurtman also also Jovan, the other Serbian, Jovan brings down Prince Owusu in the scrimmage, which is like the biggest contribution he's made to the team so far in its time. So, and then John Hurtman gets into Nick Cushing's face. He sort of chest bumps him. Cushing is not involved in this at all. He's just sort of looking around, and John Hurtman kind of runs at him and bumps him, and Nick Cushing just gives him a look, and then they get immediately separated. But he came with a head of steam, and so then everybody, there's a lot of huffing, and then they get separated, and then the real bombshell was in the subsequent press conference, where then John Hurtman and Jonathan Osorio, captain of TFC, were asked about this, and they then said, well, this goes back to an incident in the last game, in March 16th, where their head coach, talking about Nick Cushing, punched a 19-year-old player in the tunnel. And so we just wanted
him and his two coaches cornered a player and punched him.
Right.
And
we just
named 19-year-old, but there's only one 19-year-old.
There's only one
the
19-year-old. Yeah.
His name escapes me at the moment. What's his name? It's a 3 names. He's a Canadian homegrown.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
Okay. So and so we just wanted to make sure they didn't forget about this. This was kind of the gist of it, and everybody was like, "What? What happened? He punched?"
And they're saying that happened in March. Or
that happened in March at Yankee Stadium. It happened in March at Yankee Stadium at halftime.
Jacqueline Marshall Ruddy. Jaqueline Marshall Ruddy.
Right. So, okay, now flashback to March. Now he scored a goal. He scored an early goal, this 19-year-old kid whose name you just said.
Marshall Ruddy.
He scored an early goal on kind of a counterattack over the top ball, and he celebrated as if he had just won the World Cup.
He's
and
a
the Euro.
19-year-old. It's probably his first ever professional
He
goal.
just went nuts, and that people
perfectly
took
understandable. Of course.
People took I don't know.
He's 19. He's an homegrown player. Scored a goal at Yankee Stadium.
It was a lot. We were all like, okay, calm down, kid. You know this.
You
is
keep
like...
talking. I'm gonna watch the replay here. Let's take a look.
So anyway, he got very excited. Our team took a little bit of exception, and then there was some jawing at halftime between Nick Cushing and Lorenzo Insigne. They said some things to each other that people didn't like, and so then there was some more stuff went on in the tunnel, supposedly. Now we don't know exactly what happened there, but according to John Herdman, Nick Cushing punched a guy with 2 other people, punched this kid. Now they then went on. There was no mention made of this at that game. They went on to play the second half as if nothing happened. The kid played, and no mention was made of this. Although we learned yesterday that apparently they did request footage from security cameras in the tunnel, and they were given this footage, and the footage was given to the league. But there's no footage of Nick Cushing punching anybody, and John Herdman in the press conference yesterday said to this, well, the cameras just weren't working that day, I guess, in that area, sort of implying like there was some kind of a cover-up here. Or now, anyway, this is all like Tempest in a Teapot in a way, I think.
Hold on, I'm watching him celebrate right now in the game. He scored, he put his fingers up, and he ran across the field. I don't see anything there. He scored. He celebrated the way anybody celebrates a goal.
Okay. Well, I mean, whatever. He didn't do anything to deserve getting punched. I
course
will.
not.
I will. But what does anyone ever? When does anybody deserve to get punched? It's by a coach. Never. So. Yeah.
Ask Bobby Knight.
So now here we are. Nick Cushing, of course, denies this. He says he's never punched anybody. He's never laid a hand on a player. He doesn't. I mean, it's hard to imagine him punching somebody. I don't know, but perhaps it's possible.
It's a very odd accusation.
It's an odd accusation. It seems. I think
no
the most.
proof of
If you had to, he has no proof of this. If I had to guess what happened here is like, I mean, the other thing we kind of have to say that John Herdman is a very intense guy, and he's a motivator. He famously or infamously, when he was coaching the Canadian team, he said that after they lost their first game, he said they have to go and F Croatia now, and Croatia was
terrible backfire.
We're not into that choice of words, and there was some. He was
and then
depicted
later,
naked and then later what?
And then later he said during the World Cup he was dealing with what was he dealing with? Something. His wife was dying or something. Right?
Oh really? Oh,
his mother died, and you don't remember that? A month or two ago,
I don't.
He's like, during that Croatia game, my mother died, and I was not in a good spot or something.
Oh,
what I'm saying
so
is
he was
John
okay.
Herdman says stuff. So
yeah, he says things.
He admitted that during the World Cup, someone was dying. His mother, his sister, his wife. Something was going on in his personal life.
Okay.
That he shared recently.
Well, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, he likes to say things, and I bet he perhaps exaggerated. This is what I think happened. Maybe, obviously, this is speculation. I don't know this to be true, but I think probably John Hurtman used this incident for motivation and perhaps exaggerated, or just, I don't know what his choice of words was, and then Jonathan Osorio basically brings this up in the press conference, and then he has to like basically confirm or deny, and doesn't want to hang out his player to dry, so he sort of doubles down on this tale. But it obviously, his sister's death. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, I'm on mute here. Yeah, I'm just sharing. His sister died. Here we go. It shouldn't have went. John Herdman says sister's death, and I'm not ready to coach Canada in the World Cup. I did not need that World Cup. I don't know if I wanted it either. This is in December. I had just lost my sister to suicide, and it really hurt for a period of time. Never been hurt like that. So, there's another bombshell he's dropping. It happened right around the World Cup. I don't know. I don't know if it's an excuse. I don't know why you shared, but he said the World Cup was very tough on him. That's what happened. So that's a little context.
Well, this is a whole different tale. Yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, I mean that's a different tale. But he shares things. He's emotional. He really feels stuff. He wears his heart on his sleeve. It's odd. It's an odd accusation, but it has a whole other side aspect to it. And John Herdman denies it, although we have no proof. I guess you feel it's not true, right? And if that happened in March, don't you think it would have been bigger news?
It's like, I mean, that's the thing, right? If he got punched by the coach, then how do you come out for the second half if that really?
No, where's your black eye?
I mean, that seems. It seems unlikely, and I mean, I guess they did request this footage. There was a little bit of an aftermath that we didn't know about at the time. There was also some people were saying on Twitter that they have changed since that game. I don't know if this is true or not. I can't really verify this, but some people were saying on Twitter that they have changed now how teams walk into Yankee Stadium since this game in March. So they are now. They are now the teams, the home and away teams are coming through different entrances or something. I don't know. So there could be maybe something went on behind the scenes after this game.
Otherwise,
it seems weird. It seems weird to bring this up like 2 months later, and have like no proof to back it up. I don't know.
How about it's all a couple things. Let's say it's proven that he never punched anybody. Should John Herdman get penalized for just openly saying he punched one of my players? That's a fine. What is that?
That's a big accusation. If it's not. I mean, he didn't say he saw him do it. He said that this kid said this, and they requested the footage. There's nothing on the footage, so so it didn't happen on camera. However, if it happened, it didn't happen on camera, and so then that was that. But he says he stands by the player. He believes him, and that's that. So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. There's got to be some aftermath. I mean, I think Sean Johnson's probably going to get a fine or a suspension. Strahinja Tanisiewicz and Prince Owusu got
deported. We'll get deported.
They got red cards. They are in the match report as also having gotten red cards after the game. So they're definitely suspended for at least the game. And then I don't think Nick Cushing did anything in this particular game to warrant any. I think John Hurtman sort of running into him like that, or trying to chest bump him or whatever. That's also not a good look. I don't know if that's a fineable offense, but yeah, I mean, if you shouldn't make accusations like that if you can't back it up.
Yeah, but the two things: one, we learned something really big, and then two is sort of an MLS sort of history thing. But first and foremost, what we learned from all this according to The Athletic, via MLS rules, which is news to me, that punching a 19-year-old is not a fireable offense. That's according to MLS rules, it's not a fireable
Wait,
offense.
what? How does you?
Yes.
Where does it say that?
Says it as confirmed via the Athletic article or something. The only reason I bring that up is because it led to. Hold on, let me see here. Let me open up the Athletic article about it. Stall for me.
You don't get fired for punching players? That's
No, not in MLS. That would be if that, he probably MLS gets sued for wrongful termination. So let's see here. Okay, Nick Cushing, category July, and yeah, other thing as well. This is from Tom Bogert, I think.
Yeah, I read that article. What?
I saw somewhere that punching a 19-year-old is not a fireable offense. I think from Tom Bogert or something. Last that happened at Yankee Stadium. Okay, I don't know the source. I'll share the source later. But punching a kid is not a fireable offense.
That is not. I challenge that statement.
Then I have to find it. It was from a reputable source. I only read Tom Bogert. I mean, he's the only guy I get my.
And
news
you're
from.
saying 19-year-old, like if they're 20, it's fire. Like the age makes a difference. You can punch some people.
No, but punching a thing is not. But punching a player is not a fireable offense. Cushing took no further. League club's lawyer handled the investigation. Who punched? Sources briefly non-office Republican American firm, though didn't leave as much public identity. Speaking of team, players legislations have happened at the tunnel. 2 cameras. The cameras either were locking, unless said it's aware of the situation. Yeah, it's somewhere else then. It's on Tom Bogert's Twitter then. Let me check my Tom Bogert here. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because although you can't get fired for hitting another player, as per Tom Bogert, it led everyone to think, what did Bruce do? What did Bruce do?
Oh.
If punching a player doesn't get you fired, what did Bruce do? Like, Bruce Arena, what happened? What did Bruce do? That's why I bring it up. That's what this all came out. It's like, well, if they could survive this, what did Bruce do that he did not survive? That mystery just keeps on going. Tom Bogert has 1 billion tweets? No, these last tweets were all on April 22nd.
Yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't tweet anymore.
Should we talk
I have to look it up. But anyway, what did Bruce do? And the other bit of history is there's another great brawl between the New York Red Bulls and Toronto FC. Toronto FC. Toronto FC was engaged in a huge locker room brawl in 2018 between former Red Bulls players, Josie Altidore and Sasha Kljestan. They got a huge fisticuffs in the tunnel in Toronto. Toronto's former players left a brawl or something about it. They got a real chip on their shoulder.
They like to tussle. Well,
They like to tussle.
I mean, I feel like we have talked about this more than we probably needed to, maybe.
That was one of the two things. It was that. There's the Leo Messi thing we should talk about.
Yeah,
And then some
let's
little
talk
Copa
about that.
America if you want. Well, do you have anything on your mind?
I mean, it's
I need to look
sort
up
of
this thing.
overshadowed a very convincing road win, a pretty good performance by the team. We had one road game out of 28 prior to this, so this is no small thing. We don't win a lot of road games. So is this a new beginning for our group? Are we perhaps actually now a decent team? We will find out. We're getting another chance on Wednesday at the Philadelphia Union, who are struggling themselves. Their defense is leaky currently. And Andrew Blake is hurt. The Union are vulnerable. Hopefully we can take advantage. We will see. But we're out of strikers still. Munsef Bakrar is now picked up a little knock. Jovan Mijatovic, he played for NYCFC 2. The NYCFC 2 Open Cup run continues. They're in the round of 16. And they beat the Colorado Springs 1-0 with a little help of Jovan. He played the full 90. Looked a little rusty, but Anyway, that's what's going on in my world. What are you doing with your phone?
Trying to clarify Tom Bogert, not fireable offense. I'll just text it to you. From Tom Bogert, I want to reiterate, Nick Cushing and NYCFC vehemently deny this extremely serious allegation. If it's proven a complete fabrication, John Herdman should face serious consequences. Punching a player isn't just a fireable offense, but you're never getting hired again offense. Aha, I misread it.
Yeah.
I misread it. It's not just a fireable offense, but you're never getting hired again offense, which leads to the questions, what did Bruce do? What did Bruce do? He gets hired again. What did he do?
But this is this is not MLS rules. This is just Tom Bogart's opinion.
Yeah, but it's accurate, don't you think?
You just said punching a player was...
It was shocking. I was shocked. Now I'm less shocked.
Offense.
Now I'm less shocked.
Now you're agreeing.
I agree with Tom Bogert. He works for the league. He's the guy up top or whatever.
He doesn't work for the league. He works for the Athletic.
He used to work for the league. Anyway, name any coach that punched a player and survived. I'll wait.
You just said it wasn't a fireable offense.
Name any of them.
I think you should get fired if you punch players.
Yeah, and that's apparently Tom Bogert confirms. I misread it. That's why I was surprised. I was like, not a fireable. It is a fireable offense, extreme fireable offense. What did Bruce do? A couple things. Lionel Messi and the rules.
Okay, tell us.
We did the new rules this weekend with the waiting the 2 minutes. Lionel Messi was pissed on World TV because he wanted to go on the field. He had this new rule. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I didn't see the whole sequence. I just saw the little Twitter excerpt. But it happened. I have mixed feelings about it, but just it happened. The other thing is U.S. Open Cup's getting a little more traction. Don Garber was quoted recently saying the U.S. Open Cup gives MLS no value. Again, they keep freaking putting, Don Garber, when he speaks, it just ignites the flames. And his latest public speaking was like, yeah, U.S. Open Cup gives us no value. And it just pissed people off. One of the greatest comedians of our generation, John Glazer, dressed head to toe in Detroit City FC gear, went on Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on Thursday and cheered on Detroit City for defeating Houston Dynamo in the U.S. Open Cup. That's considerable exposure. Bjorn, where are you at, bud?
What? I'm looking up this Messi situation because there was more nuance to it. He didn't like this rule. What
did you think of the John Glazer thing I brought up?
What?
The best thing in all of U.S. soccer this past weekend was one of the greatest comedians of our time, John Glazer, of Delocated fame. He was a writer on Conan.
Right.
He's on a bunch of. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain. He's on a bunch of Parks and Rec. Which he's on Parks and Rec. He's on John Loves Gear. Great comedian. He was head to toe Detroit City FC gear on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yes.
And he decried the defeated Houston Dynamo, the defending champions at U.S. Open Cup over the league. That's amazing exposure. Meanwhile, that same day, Don Garber at some sort of conference was explaining that U.S. Open Cup gives no value to MLS.
And Ben Olsen scoffed at this too. He said, "Oh, there's the second division. They were just."
Well, they should have won, shouldn't they? So that's just the U.S. Open Cup news we should bring up. Gianna Infantino, the FIFA president, said the U.S. has a pay-to-play problem. Agreed. It keeps being brought up over and over again. There's no solution for that, but it's just something that people keep reiterating, which is true. But yeah, so let's talk Messi, the nuances. I have mixed feelings. How do you feel?
Well, Messi had the point that Messi said that with this rule they're going in the wrong direction, and he said he felt like, I think that the downside of this rule is that it could, you could then target players. The opposition can target players and hurt them deliberately, so that they have to come off for treatment and get off 2 minutes. So, we have to see how this plays out in action. But I think he had some right to be upset, maybe.
Yeah, I wish I saw the whole sequence, but he was healthy, ready to go on the field. They're like, no, you have to wait 2 minutes. Or he's like, what? What are you talking about? I've played soccer my whole life, but everywhere. World Cup. This is not a rule that's a thing. And they're like, well, MLS introduced it last weekend. So my mixed feelings are, I understand the point of it, But should MLS be leading or should they be following when it comes to the global rules of the game?
Well, they're giving it a shot. We'll see. We didn't talk about this last week, but in our previous game, Munsif Bankra didn't get off the field quick enough, so his replacement ended up waiting 2+ minutes. It's only supposed to be a minute, but then there was just no other interruption. I guess the players were unaware because somebody could have just kicked it out of bounds for him to come in. Yeah, it's still a little clunky in its execution, but I understand the spirit of it. You want the game to move on.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, MLS is an experimentation league now. They're like, we'll do it. I love, by the way, the VAR football-style announcements. That's thumbs up to me.
I don't know. Half the time, it's hard to understand what they're saying.
Well, I mean, is it easier to understand if they say nothing? It's at least clear.
It's rarely like I feel like I'm rarely like if in the cases where this applies, where there is an override and the guy goes to the monitor, I'm rarely confused about what's happening. I have to say.
Yeah. Well, then, so you're against that rule too?
I mean,
should MLS be
the
world leader in rule changes, or should they just wait and follow the way others do it? Should they be a leader or should they be a follower? I think they should be a follower. I like the spirit of the rules. I'm really into it. But if it's just making the game weird, it leads to a bigger topic, which I brought up before, is like MLS needs to get rid of the whole we do things our own way stuff, and they really need to do it the way everybody else does it. And this is an example where they're like, we're different, we're quirky. And it's like, really, should you be quirky?
Well, I think this is the number one. The time wasting thing is the number one complaint, right? Of the American non-soccer person, fair or unfair, right? I mean, this is my counterpoint to what you're saying. This is when you hear.
I already have a counter to this, but
what most of I mean, I do too. But what you hear from non-soccer fans, the flopping is like their biggest bone to pick. I mean, aside from
my counter to that, I agree with you.
In the NBA, people flop just as much.
Touche. My counter to that is we should never, ever, ever give two shits about non-soccer fans. Ever.
I mean, also fair. Yeah, I guess also fair.
This country is packed with millions of soccer fans. That's why I'm talking about MLS shouldn't be quirky. They should be like the rest of it, so that the soccer fans can buy into it. You know what I'm saying? So they shouldn't be put. I know in '96 and stuff that was a big deal. They need to get over that. They need to get over the fact they're trying to convert non-soccer fans. That's not the game here. That's not the business. The business is how do you get the thriving millions and millions and millions of soccer fans that watch the elite of it, how do you get them to show up? That's the thing. Yeah. And you don't do it by offering it to be different than what they already know. That's my counter to that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, how realistically is some NFL nutto going to start going to a Houston Dynamo game all of a sudden?
Oh, they finally cracked down on the flopping. Now I'm on board. No, you're right.
No. Screw him. If he doesn't care for the sport, he can walk away. We got all these World Cup fans, the Mexican League fans, the EPL fans, the women's soccer fans. The fans are there. We need those guys to start showing up to MLS games. Just like the NWSL needs them to show up to NWSL games. Same thing. But, so it's just interesting. The rules, the spirit was correct. I agree with you. But then when the world's best player is like, what is this? Why can't I just go on the field? During the Copa, that's not going to be a rule, right? During the World Cup, that's not going to be a rule, probably.
No.
So it's a little odd. It's a little quirky. And MLS needs to, my opinion is MLS needs to stay away from quirky. They have too much of that going on already. In the non-quirky category, too much quirkiness. In the non-quirky category, MLS 2 weeks ago, which I think we talked about it, randomly decided to be fully transparent with their roster slots, and that was nice. I was like, that's a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah, true.
Remember when they're like, this is your team's roster's status. Here you go. Black and white on a PDF. So I'm like, amen, brother. Yeah, more of that. More of that. Don't be so secretive about that. that helps us out with all your wacky rules. This helps out. It's a step in the right direction. But yeah, New York Red Bulls won 4-2. They recovered from the shellacking with a wacky home New England game of their own. Lionel Messi and the boys overturned a 2-0 Montreal lead to a 3-2 win. Lionel Messi and the boys, when they're on, they're on. I mean, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
They really, if they're healthy and focused throughout the season, there's no reason they're not going to win MLS Cup this year. I mean, they have the tools for it.
Well, MLS Cup is like, that's a knockout tournament. They all have to be healthy for that.
True.
But the Supporters Shield, I agree with you.
But 6-2, 3-2, both from the bottom. Now they're here. Like when Lionel Messi's on and angry, he's invincible. So they can keep him on and angry for the playoffs, and I think it's their cup. And then the other little thing is Tyler Adams had a short cameo appearance for Bournemouth this weekend. I was worried. I thought he was out for the summer. He is the U.S. men's national team most important player, in my opinion. And I thought we were going to lose him this summer, which is going to be a huge blow. But if he's getting some minutes in England right now, he's still got a month. Knock on wood.
He could come back.
Knock on wood.
Gio Reyna was not in the squad of Nottingham Forest's decisive. It wasn't that decisive, but it was a big game for them fighting relegation. He was not in the squad, and they did in the end keep. They're probably going to stay in the league unless Luton makes up 12 goal differential.
Go Luton.
Gio Reyna was celebrating with the lunch ladies in the cafeteria because he was not.
2 more games, I get to go back to Dortmund. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been in the Champions League final. I don't know. He would have.
Well,
been
he could have
better
been watching it from the bench, but his
He
trash
would have
bits
been.
at
He
Dortmund
would have
were
been
better
on
than
the.
his
He would
trash
have been on
bits
the
at-
bench. He would have been on the bench though for sure.
True. His trash bits at Dortmund ended up being better than his trash minutes at Nottingham Forest.
Significantly, yeah.
Significantly. Yeah. Well, we need to fix that. The dude is good. He's very good. I mean, not everybody could take a ball and run it down Estadio Azteca to the Mexican national team like he did. Okay, there's something there. But what is going on with his off-field stuff? Maybe there's something there too. I don't know, but Gio's got a bright future. Let's
So
hope
he
stays
should
focused. Let's
just
hope
go
he-
back to Dortmund, you think, or should he find another team?
And Terzic said he's going to use Gio Reyna more next year. I'm very suspect of that. I think he needs to go back to Dortmund and then find a new team. He needs to go to Borussia Mönchengladbach or something. He needs to go to a mid-level team that'll play him where he'll play.
Are they barely? They're barely a mid-level team.
Well, but exactly. I mean, he needs a club. Maybe Union Berlin, if they survive, he needs to go somewhere where they'll play him and he'll play. If it's not Bayern München and Borussia Dortmund or Nottingham Forest for whatever reason, then it's got to be somewhere. What if he loans to Bochum for a year? You don't think Bochum's going to give him minutes?
We got an open spot. Kevin Stöger is leaving, and he is 75% of the offensive quality that our team had this year. So yeah, that'd be great. I don't think he's going to Bochum.
Wolfsburg, maybe? How about that? The club where his dad used to play for?
Man, that's rough.
Maybe. He just needs to play, man. If Gio Reyna spends healthy all year, Wolfsburg playing week in and week out, I'll take it. I'll take it, brother.
Okay.
He needs to be playing.
All right.
All right. Okay. You have any other things?
We
You've
got
been frozen
midweek.
for a while.
What?
You're frozen from. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm not frozen in person.
It's probably my internet then. It's a little wonky. Just checking. I don't want a what's this Mitch McConnell situation here.
No.
Just
I
checking.
guess it is my birthday. I am getting up in years, but that is knock on wood. It's not happened yet. I don't just freeze like that.
Good. Just want to make sure.
well,
Good.
We've got midweek MLS action on Wednesday. Everybody's playing. The NYCFC's at Philly. The Red Bulls are in DC because it's rivalry week.
Ooh.
Montreal is playing Columbus, and then on this weekend we're playing you guys. So
Oh, that's right.
when we meet again, we will have the first City Field Derby behind us.
both LA teams are on the road this Wednesday. Fortunately, I can't see.
Are they not? They're not playing each other in rivalry week.
I guess it's only rivalry for some. Because it's not El Tráfico this weekend. I know that.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe next
Well,
weekend.
exciting stuff.
Excellent. Well, good luck, my friend.
Thank you. We will reveal more about Tunnelgate. I don't think too much will come of it.
I think it's already
prediction.
done with. But like the New York Red Bulls, NYCFC, the Red Bulls, I think on paper having a stronger season, but over the last 2 weeks they've let 10 goals go. No, they've got 8 goals go in. But defensively a little frail.
And we've been getting better, so who knows? But it's still pretty up and down. Still a young team.
100%. Our cracks are starting to show, and you're starting to bond a little more. So, a team on the way up and a team
Exciting.
It'll be a lot of fun. I look forward to it. Goodbye, everybody. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Buy our merch. We're a thing. Tell your friends.
Let's
The German-American soccer experience has been another week
Bucket
with
hats.
your Shitza boys. Bucket hats.
Bucket hats.
Look at that beautiful bucket hat. Look at that beautiful bucket
hats.
hat. I have to explain to my sister what a bucket hat was. Beautiful. Tschüss. Bis nächste Woche.